We talk about grieving hearts, shattered homes, lost time, but what if grief stands quietly on four legs? What if the one who mourns doesn't have the words, only the gait they return to and the scent they can't forget? This is a story of how horses say goodbye. They don't write eulogies, they don't wear black, they nicker into silence. They lower their heads when no one's watching, they grieve deeply. This voiceover is not just a story, it's a reckoning. Of recognition, of reverence, of the quiet language of loss that lives in pastures, stalls, and hearts that never quite stop waiting. You see it all the time, a horse standing by the fence, eyes locked on the horizon. Minutes pass. Sometimes hours, they don't move. To some, it's just idling, but for others, it's grief. Horses are routine animals. If they always saw their friend leave through that gate, that's where they'll wait, long after that friend is gone. Long after the scent has faded, because in the horse's heart, that's where return should happen. You muck the stall, it looks clean, but they know the scent is off. The sounds are gone, the familiar rustle absent. Some horses linger at the empty stall of a lost friend. They sniff it, lick the walls, call into it. It's not a confusion, it's mourning. They are gathering the traces, trying to understand. This is where science meets soul. Horses do recognize absence, and they respond to it with more than just instinct. When one horse dies, the rest of the herd doesn't just go on as usual. You might see pacing, restlessness, or a strange stillness. Horses form attachment bonds just like humans, and when a member disappears, the social structure shifts. They feel that loss in their bodies, their nervous systems, their rituals. Some will become protective, others withdrawn. Some will whinny endlessly into dusk. Grief reshapes the herd, and they need time to find a new rhythm. There's a sound some horse people know, a high-pitched, stretched-out whinny full of questions. It's not panic, not pain, it's longing. A horse calling for someone who will never answer. It happens days, even weeks after the loss. When hope fades but love still burns, these mourning calls echo through the barn, through the hills, and through us. Because even if the world forgets, they remember. Science is cautious here, but stories speak volumes. A mare standing beside her fallen foal, refusing to leave for hours. A gelding refusing food after his lifelong friend passed. A herd gathering around a dying elder, heads low, breaths synced. Do they understand death in the way we define it? Maybe not, but they understand absence. They feel a rupture. They respond to the finality of stillness. That too is understanding. In natural settings, horses witness the death of their own. In domestic life, we often shield them from it. But many experts and compassionate horse owners suggest letting surviving horses see the body. It allows for closure, it offers explanation to the unanswered call. Horses may sniff the body, stand over it, even walk away on their own. Without that moment, they may wait endlessly. This single act can prevent prolonged trauma. Some horses lose their person, and the heartbreak is unmistakable. They pace the gate at the hour they used to arrive. They nose the brush that once carried their scent. Some fall into depression, refusing food, refusing touch. To a horse, their person is part of the herd, and losing them is like losing a leader, a friend, a soulmate. These stories will break you and bind you to your horse even more. When a horse loses a friend abruptly in an accident, for example, the nervous system may freeze. Confusion, panic, even aggression can follow. They don't just mourn, they spiral. Understanding this helps us step in gently, with space, with softness, with presence, not pressure. This is where true horsemanship begins. It happened on a quiet morning. A trailer arrived and one horse was loaded up, not for a trail ride or a show, but for a final vet visit. The remaining herd watched, silent, still. After the trailer pulled away, the horses didn't return to grazing. They didn't wander. They stood, some waited by the gate for hours. One paced the fence line. Another whinnied into the wind. They don't know the words for goodbye, but they know the absence. And they feel it ripple through the fabric of the herd like a sudden tear. Sometimes the trailer comes back empty. The scent of their companion still lingers on the mats, on halters, on blankets. Horses approach, noses twitching. They sniff the air like trying to pull a memory out of it. Some back away. Others nudge the space, confused, reluctant to leave. For the next several days, routine is unsettled. Grazing patterns change. One horse may sleep standing. Another may become unusually clingy. They feel it, all of it. There are few sights harder than a foal pressing its head to an empty stall corner, seeking warmth that isn't there, or crying out again and again for a response that doesn't come. Orphaned foals grieve, not just physically, emotionally. Studies have shown that young horses separated from their mothers can exhibit signs of depression, disassociation, and behavioral withdrawal. We can feed them, hold them, care for them, but what they miss most isn't milk. It's the heartbeat they knew. Some horses belong to one soul, that person who sings when they groom, who always scratches the same spot, who always shows up. When that person dies or disappears due to illness or change, horses don't forget. They search, they call, they stand in the places where the routine used to be, the gate, the grooming stall, the chair outside the pasture. And they wait for minutes, for hours, sometimes for days, because their bond wasn't based on words. It was based on presence, and when presence disappears, love echoes in its absence. Grief spreads through a barn like mist. One horse leaves, others feel it. Appetites change, tempers flicker, energy dips. The entire herd shifts in behavior, and not always immediately. Sometimes the change is slow, a hesitancy, a cautiousness. It's as though the structure of the social world they trusted has tilted, and they're unsure where to place their feet now. Some horse owners allow herd mates to see a fallen friend. It can be healing, painful but necessary. Horses will approach the body cautiously, sniffing, nudging. Some walk circles around it, others stand guard. Then something remarkable happens, a quiet stillness. One by one they walk away, slowly, with reverence. It is their way of understanding, of closing the loop, of saying goodbye in a language older than words. In large pastures, horses will search, days after a loss. You'll see them walk trails they never used before, whinny at corners, peer into shadows. It's not a confusion. It's a hope, the hope that maybe the one they loved is just beyond the hill, just past the tree line, just out of sight. Even when the herd has moved on, some horses carry a private mission to find what was lost. And they search with their whole heart. When a herd member dies, the others don't just move on. They gather, they sniff, they sometimes stand still for hours. Some nuzzle the body. This moment, quiet and heart-wrenching, is not just curiosity. It's mourning, and it teaches us that herd grief is a shared language, even without words. Horses will often refuse food. Their posture changes, ears low, head hanging. And when one horse is removed before the others can process their departure, the confusion and distress deepen. Some barns now allow herd farewells. A final moment for the remaining horses to understand, to feel, to accept. Because when we rush their grief, we do more than hurry time, we silence a ritual that was meant to be honored. Even when the body is gone, the scent remains in the stall, in the brushes, in the worn leather of an old halter. And horses remember. They sniff the spot where a friend once lay. They linger by the gate they used to share. They press their nose to a feed bucket that smells like someone who's no longer there. It isn't a coincidence. It's scent-based memory, the kind that ties experience to emotion. In some horses, these moments of silent searching become a loop of behavior, checking the same corner, returning to the same stall, hoping the presence might return. We see obsession. They feel a goodbye. Some horses only grieve when the barn is quiet. It's in the stillness, when the lights are out, the humans have gone, and the last sound fades, that they call. A single aching whinny, then silence, then again. Night cries aren't always about anxiety. Sometimes they're about absence. In herds, sound is survival, and when one call goes unanswered, night after night, some horses stop calling altogether. Others cry louder. We'll talk about how to distinguish between separation stress and mourning grief, and what comfort looks like in those shadowed hours. In the wild, a missing herd member might return. A stallion delayed, a mare separated in fog. A foal chasing a butterfly too far, so they wait, not just for hours but days. A herd doesn't move on with closure, they pause with hope. In domestic life, when a horse disappears from illness, sale, or death, the remaining ones often wait too, by the gate, by the water trough, by the last shared pile of hay. You might think they've moved on when they eat again, but no, they're surviving, not forgetting. They're scanning the horizon between chews. Horses grieve communally, but they mourn in moments. One horse stands where the other once stood. Another lowers their head near an empty stall, and in those quiet returns to familiar places, the waiting continues, even if what they're waiting for will never come back. When a member of a herd dies, it doesn't just leave an emotional hole, it rewires the entire social map. That playful pony who used to bite the hocks of the leader now stares into the distance. Withdrawn, uncertain, that quiet mare, always second to last, suddenly steps forward tentatively into the void. Grief disrupts more than hearts. It disrupts roles. Some horses will try to keep the old order alive, standing in the empty space of the one they lost. Others crumble without that one companion who gave them courage. You might see a formerly dominant horse become anxious, a shy horse who stops eating when their friend vanishes, a once playful gelding who goes days without rolling. Because loss doesn't just mean missing someone, it means questioning everything. We ask it too, so do they. When a horse dies and their body is removed quickly, before the herd can approach, sniff, nudge, process, it leaves a scar. Unacknowledged grief becomes anxiety. Unwitnessed death becomes confusion. Some barns now practice a sacred pause. They let the herd approach the body. Let them sniff the flank, nibble the mane, circle and watch. Some will lick, some will nudge, some will simply stand, unmoving, breathing deeply. This is not just superstition, it is science meeting soul. Horses process death best when given time, when given access, when given a chance to say goodbye. If we rush them away, they don't know what's happening. We deny them something core. Closure, let them linger, let them decide when to walk away. Grief in horses doesn't follow a checklist. There is no 5-step plan, there is only presence. You'll notice the mourning horse stop pacing as much. Then one day you hear a snort that sounds lighter, a roll in the dust that lasts longer, a nibble of grass shared with someone new. It doesn't mean they've forgotten. It means their nervous system is slowly uncoiling. Healing doesn't erase memory. It builds new safety around it. What helps? Routine, so the world feels stable. Gentle companionship, but never forced bonding. Space to return to the old places without being rushed. Some horses never fully return to who they were. And that's okay. Grief changes the shape of a soul, but with time and love, the sharp edges soften. They don't understand death like we do, but they understand absence. They understand routines that no longer happen. They understand the voice that used to hum through chores is missing. And they wait, at the gate, in the corner of the stall, near the feed bucket at the hour that person used to arrive. Some call for them, some go quiet entirely. Some horses go off feed or won't lie down for days, because to them, the human who brushed them, rode them, whispered to them was part of the herd, and when that member vanishes, it fractures the world. Even months later, a new visitor in that space may trigger something, a turn of the ear, a step toward a familiar sound, a soft exhale like memory catching in the chest. You were not just the caregiver, you were family. Even when we move on, the barn does not. Grief lingers in the scent of worn halters, in the flattened straw of a stall never rebedded, in the hush of a quiet paddock where hooves once danced. Other horses pass the spot with more caution. A lead rope hangs untouched for weeks. Even the dogs avoid certain corners. Grief leaves energetic fingerprints, and horses feel them. Some barns choose to honor the space. A halter left on a hook with a nameplate. A photo taped to a stall door. A moment of silence during morning rounds. These aren't for us alone, they're for the herd too, to acknowledge the invisible ache they carry, because barns have memory. And they grieve too. Horses form attachments, not just habits. And sometimes that bond is so deep it endures. We've heard stories of a mare who cried every morning for weeks after her gelding died. A gelding who stood in the rain, refusing shelter, after his pasture mate was euthanized. A foal that nuzzled a blanket where her dam once laid. These are not coincidences. These are expressions of loyalty, confusion, longing, of something we dare to call love. And while skeptics call it anthropomorphism, horse people know, you feel it in your gut, you see it in the eyes that no longer sparkle. You feel it in the pause where joy used to be. Death may take the body, but the connection, it lingers in every hoof print. You can't stop the ache, but you can soften it. Here's how to support a grieving horse. Keep the routine structure as safety. Let them move, gentle turnout, calm companionship. Don't rush bonding, give them the choice. Allow herd access to the body when possible. Watch for health changes, appetite, sleep, colic risk. But most of all, be there not just as a feeder or a stall cleaner, as a witness. Sit near them without fixing, groom gently without asking for more, let silence speak. Sometimes your presence is the only bridge across their heartbreak. And it matters more than you'll ever know. Sometimes we make the decision to let them go. Old age, pain, no more pasture mornings. And in those moments, as the vet approaches, we cry beside them, but we're not the only ones feeling it. Their herd mates sense the shift, the quiet, the gravity, and they deserve a goodbye too. Invite them in, let the herd stand nearby. Let them watch, let them sniff, let them understand. This is closure, not just for you, for them. And when your horse passes, let another hold space for you too. Because grief runs both ways. You are not alone in mourning. Your horse's best friend, their pasture mate, their sole companion. They felt it too. They waited at the gate. For someone who wasn't coming, but maybe they knew. They weren't gone, not really, because horses hold memory in breath, in stillness, in the rhythm of hooves meeting earth. And when you see them pause in a familiar place, ears twitching, eyes soft, it's not just wind. It's goodbye still echoing, and love still present, always. Thank you for riding through this journey with us. On Horse Sense, we don't just talk about horses, we speak for them. Their pain, their joy, their silences. Because every flick of the ear, every sigh, every goodbye means something. If today's story moved you, share it. Let someone else feel seen, horse or human. And if you've ever stood at the gate, waiting, or watched a soul walk away, know this. You're not alone, your horse remembers too. Subscribe for more truth, tenderness, and connection straight from the heart of the herd. This is Horse Sense, where every hoofbeat has meaning, and every goodbye deserves to be heard.